So let's start from the beginning. Can you pull up the Substack article?
Okay.
So I just published a blog article, or me and my team, um, on Rashad Richey, and it goes into a lot of detail um, on well, it goes it skims over some of the details, and it gives links to all of his fake degrees, not all of them, the most egregious ones, let's say that, because there's a lot of detail that you could write a book about, and nobody's going to read that whole thing. um,
Yeah,
so
I
I
mean,
kind of
I
tried to
did
summarize
okay.
the most egregious claims in this article. And if you scroll down to um, the more recent stuff that I've uncovered.
Let me
um
know when you want me to stop.
yeah, just keep scrolling. So the original fake PhD, this is about his Schofield degree, his legal education, all his phony degrees, his JD that doesn't exist from the school in Haiti. um and then we get to, he's a professor of physics, which he's clearly not.
God.
And his, his fake invention that doesn't exist in right here. So scroll up a bit. um so this is what I want to cover today, is how he spreads his lies. So I looked through a whole bunch of stuff, and I said, he posts, Rashad Richey posts a lot of hype news about himself on his social media accounts. And so once you look into that, it became clear to me. I checked out these websites that he posts, and if you scroll down a bit to that chart, um, that we so there's a network of websites that Rashad appears to be operating. And so he uses these websites to, inject, a hype article about him that's full of lies about his degrees, and why he's such a great person, or his incredible viewership, or his wild success, and this and that. Um, and then he posts a news article on his social media saying, "Well, look, guys, this is just great. Like, somebody's reporting about me. I'm humbled by the coverage."
I know. Oh my god.
And so
You
it
know what it
turns
reminds
out,
me of? But you know what it
yeah.
reminds me of? It's like a person who fakes his own death so he can hear the eulogy.
Oh, yeah.
And then he
It's
pops out,
kinda like
"I'm
that.
actually
It is.
alive."
Yeah. This is just to puff himself up. So he's created this network of websites. And how did discover that? So when you register a website, you register with the domain provider,
Mhm.
GoDaddy, or Google Domains, or whatever is, um, whoever you choose. And then so there's usually it's anonymous. But what happened is, so Rashad Richey met, or got to know, or somehow hired this lady, Crystal Buey, a former newscaster. And she has a marketing, promotional PR agency called Spotlight Communications Group, registered in Atlanta. Everybody's in Atlanta, by the way, unless mentioned otherwise. Um, and through that, uh, through her website. So her website, I checked out her website, and the IP address of the website. And it is the same IP. And then I checked out all of the I the all of the websites registered to that IP address. And it was only about, a few hundred, three, four, 600, or something like that. So I manually went through all of them and looked at the ones that kind of looked suspicious, like they could be part of Rashad's thing. And I recognized a few that he had posted links to before. And I looked up a few others. And lo and behold, all of these websites are hosted on the same very small web server. Some web servers, they host 20,000 websites. This one
Mhm.
doesn't, just a few hundred. These are part of it. And one of the websites, americanewsnow.us, is registered directly to Rashad Richey with an email address of the Spotlight Communications Group. So I don't know if he's part of the group, or I suspect. So this Crystal Buey registers websites. She doesn't make websites. She's a storyteller, a newscaster. Um, and so when she needs a website, she goes on Fiverr or Upwork, finds some random dude there. they'll make a website for her, and that's what happened with NewYorkInquisitor.com, ScienceNewsWatch.com, AmericaNewsNow.us, TheLAMonitor.com, and UrbanNewsNow.com. These were all made by the same web developer, and that's why they have the same Google tag ID. And so this is sort of an ID to keep track of who's coming to your website. And so a tag ID is issued to a single person or entity. So these are all and all registered on the same date as you see in this chart. And one of them directly to two of them directly to Rashad Richey through Spotlight Communications Group.
Now,
So
why do you think that they were registered to Rashad Richey directly? Any reason you think
yeah,
that
I
was?
think so. You're using somebody from Fiverr or Upwork, it's not going to be quality work. So
Uh,
I'm assuming that somebody made a mistake and put his name directly into the website registration instead of just using an anonymous domain host. And so I'm assuming it's just shoddy work. But anyway, lucky for us, so we can discover that he actually hosts. And this may not be exhaustive. He may have other news websites or news. So what happens with these news websites? They look quite nice. Let's look at one of them. And wait, I'll send you a link.
okay, through the
Um,
private chat.
yeah, I'll send you a link through the private chat. For example, I gotta open this up first. Copy. Um, so what I've had to do now, I don't know, do we want to reveal this? I guess so, yeah. These news websites, just before um, we started this live stream, they disappeared just a few minutes before we started. The
Yeah,
whole
talk about
network
that
of
a little bit. I mean, let's not make sure we gloss over that.
somebody contacted Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks Network. He's the CEO he's the CEO of the Young Turks Network, which hosts Rashad Richey's show. This is one of his main sources of income for Rashad Richey is the Young Turks Network show on YouTube.
Mhm.
And it's also podcast or something like that. But anyway, so I got somebody to contact him, and I guess he didn't reply. Well, I haven't
Is it
heard
the
back
same
from
guy that I
anyone.
had contact other people before?
What's that?
Is it the same guy that I used to contact other people? Oh,
Uh,
never
y-
mind.
it is another guy, yeah.
With a
But
different
anyway,
name. Okay.
so um, but a guy, yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
So anyway, so Cenk never got back, and I guess maybe the email got forwarded. Something happened. You posted, your advertisement to this stream here, and I published um, the result of the research we've done on the Substack. And then minutes later, the entire network of fake news websites disappeared. So,
And
but yeah. So let's look at this NewYorkInquisitor.com,
okay.
right? Let's
Let
scroll
me
through
ask you a
there.
question though.
Yeah,
I mean, I didn't see any of that email, but did it outline which of the websites, or did they have to pull them all down?
I don't know exactly
I'm
in
assuming
detail,
that it was the
but it
email
it
that
it,
did it.
it talked about this fake news network, the
Right.
FNN, Rashad Richey's FNN, fake news network. So let's look at the New York Inquisitor, right? News about Putin. All right. What else? Right.
Mhm.
Let's look at this. What else? Ontario County,
These are all just
uh,
auto
humid
streams.
weather. There's mainstream news, and who are they written by? Let's stop for a second.
I'm sorry?
WNYC Medical Daily. I'm just looking at where these news are coming from. So what's happening is these are from a newswire, a newswire service, and you can just buy the news and put it on your website if you pay them some amount of money,
Yeah, it's like an
right?
RSS feed in a way, right? It just
Yeah.
streams in. Mhm.
So this populates the entire website with news. It looks like a normal news website, but the news are not from the New York Inquisitor, which doesn't exist. Um, it is just a general news from Newswire, from
Sure.
news agencies, from CNN, from whoever. It's just a mix of these news are displayed here, and then of course keep scrolling, and then
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
an article about Rashad Richey. So this seems like
The legend?
this seems like a great news website. And then it says, Rashad Richey, the man, the legend, the broadcaster, the quantum physicist,
Oh, the
and
quantum physicist.
and and, and it is. You can click on it if you want to do yourself the harm. Um, so uh, and then this one hype or somewhere between 1 and 5 hype articles about Rashad Richey telling some outrageous lies about his education.
Oh, by the way,
Um,
just as a note, this is Syracuse University,
that's right. Yeah,
but it was posted on no,
Asia
the
Pacific
Asia
School.
Pacific School of Business
Yeah,
website. They stole the image, and he puts it in his article.
they stole the fake image. Yeah.
They stole a fake image.
Yes.
That's like a stealing from the thief.
So this is a hype article, essentially just running down.
Now,
Um,
do you know who Angela Patton is, or is that a fake
oh,
name?
I've looked into a whole bunch. I didn't look into Angela Patton. But it's a bunch of Rashad Ritchie's friends or marketing people that he knows.
Mhm.
It is either marketing people he pays, or even Chris Smith, his senior producer on his radio show. He writes some of these the content on
Right.
these fake
Yeah, I've
news
seen
websites
some of
as
this
well.
stuff.
So
Can we go
so
back?
so yeah, so the impression there's an impression that all these websites are very similar. The impression is that, hey, this is a news website. Oh, there's this article about Rashad Richey. Wow, cool. This guy's famous. He's made it into the news. But it is in fact just fake news. Except, most of it is newswire content, so it's actually legit, except this one, right? Or somewhere between 1 and 5 articles they'll pull in there, and he sometimes reuses these websites. Some of them are just one-offs. I think americanewsnow.com is just a one-off, and but they're all registered to him. If you want to go back to the article that I posted, like the
Yeah. Okay. Give me a
uh,
second. I gotta.
fake PhD investigator thing.
Yeah, I gotta find it here. Oh shoot, where did I put it? Give me a second.
Yeah, you can just click on the link again in the private chat.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that was not it. I
That
clicked on
was
the
the
wrong one. Give me
the
a
prior
second.
link. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got so many windows open now that it's gotten a little confusing. Okay, here we go. There we go. Okay,
So if we scroll down to that graphic uh, that we settled on, I guess, about how this network operates.
there it is.
Yeah. So this is from, I guess, essentially from the from open source information that Rashad Richey commissions Spotlight Communications Crystal Buey, who's also been on his show, and who also has
Oops.
promised part of the proceeds of her memoir to the Rashad Richey Foundation. So there's some
For
close connection there.
memoirs, like what would that fetch?
Yeah, I know. She has a memoir anyway. In the memoir, she promises to pay Rashad Richey part of the proceeds for whatever reason. She's so impressed by him, right? So, and then she uses Fiverr, Upwork to get somebody to create these website shells, which is then populated by Newswire service content and these articles, these fake articles about Rashad Richey that appear to be regular news articles, but are really just Rashad Richey talking about himself, frankly,
Right.
right?
Okay. Yeah.
And then they finished this website. They delivered to the Young Turks or Rashad Richey. I don't know how that works exactly. If the Young Turks have producers that work on all shows, or Rashad has his own producer on the show, I'm not sure. But somebody must be aware at the Young Turks of what Rashad's doing. And so then Rashad posts these articles, these fake articles on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. Um, and Oh, do we have a link? Let's find a link where um I'll send you a link here
Okay.
to his LinkedIn where where he links the article, and it's if it's still up, it's still up. Yeah. So his LinkedIn hasn't been touched, but the network of fake news websites is gone. If you go there, if you type in NewYorkInquisitor.com, there won't be anything. You have to go on archive.org and find the remnants there. So here it says, "Thank you." Let's read this. "Thank you, America News Now, for this thoughtful feature." Thank you. He's just so thankful that
Oh
that he
my
himself
god.
featured himself. I didn't see this coming. He just didn't see
Oh,
it coming.
I mean, what a surprise.
Well, yeah, he paid for the website. He paid somebody to write this fake news article about him, and yeah,
Oh,
so then he talks
wow.
about this other fake degree, by the way, which is
Western
totally
Orthodox
not
University,
legit.
that's the Schofield thing.
No,
But you had
that's John Kersey.
yeah.
So that's
Oh,
that's
by the
the
way,
other right.
John Kersey has, like, 51 degrees.
Yeah. So John Kersey
Yeah.
is another far right wing
Mhm.
um, person in Rashad Richey's ROM that he associates with. So this isn't like a normal conservative, like, lower taxes and against abortion or whatever. This guy is like, Hitler did nothing wrong, sort of conservative.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the sort of uh, person that Rashad Richey associates with. Well, I guess we could cover that on another show, but that's
Mhm.
a whole nother topic. Yeah, that Rashad. So essentially, I allege, and you may be of a different opinion, that Rashad Richey isn't really a progressive. He just plays one for the show because he's figured out he can make money with that.
I mean, and that's where again, we're gonna talk about this on another show, but we've kinda go back and forth on that. I mean, like, me, I'm kinda feeling that these other guys just write his stuff for him, and he doesn't even
Mhm.
check it. He just wants the diploma. And I think that you kind of feel like
I'm
deep
open to that
down, this guy
argument,
is
but I don't
really a
know.
right
Yeah.
winger.
So Rashad Richey lives in a white suburb.
Yeah.
Um, does he see himself as maybe not being black, and he just kind of who know? Or maybe he doesn't know who he is at all. I have no idea. But there's a few theories out there.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
but
and none of the theories
clearly there's
contain him in a
something
very good
wrong. Yeah.
light.
I
Right.
mean, look at this. He associates himself with Western Orthodox University. Just the name in itself is going to be a very conservative institution.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
like on the very conservative end of conservative.
Yeah.
And
This kind of institution would have, um, allied itself with the nationalist army in the Spanish Civil War, right? That kind of thing.
that kind of, yes,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
the
absolutely. Absolutely.
Orthodox. I mean, really, this isn't some type of Presbyterian, new church of some sort. where they invite everyone and everyone welcome. Um, that's not what this is. This is, arch conservative stuff. So, um, yeah,
It's
but
on
that's just an
typical
aside
page
to
too.
this fake news network, which now doesn't exist anymore. I mean, it does. Just if you go on the LA Monitor, you just show the viewers what's happening if you go on thelamonitor.com.
I think you have that one already.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
in the private
Okay.
chat as a link.
So yeah,
Forbidden.
forbidden.
Website's gone, nuked from orbit.
Okay, so there's some theories, and we've talked about this a little bit earlier in the show, but one is uh Zhank got that email from your colleague and basically forwarded it to Rashad, said, "Hey man, what's going on here?" And Rashad just pulled these things down immediately. The other
It
one
could
is
be.
yeah, the other one is that he saw this stream coming up. We're going to expose his marketing scheme, so he pulled these things down in a hopes of thwarting whatever we were going to do. I don't know, but I mean, this is too coincidental.
Yeah.
This is
So,
not
but
just one of the sites
they're
going down.
they're out of luck because all of this is archived on archive.org,
Right.
and there's there. I'll have to update some of the links on the blog to point to archive.org for the archived website instead of the live one, which no longer exists. But yeah, so just a few minutes before we went live here, that thing, the entire network disappeared. I wonder if there's any others. Let's see if what's her name, Crystal Buey's website. What's it called?
Spotlight
Spotlight
Communications.
spotlightcommunicationsgroup.com. That's what it is.
I can type it in.
Yeah.
Hey, that's
So
not
that's
too
on.
bad for having a whole bunch of rum down me. Okay.
Is that working?
It's still just spinning. We'll see.
Oh,
I mean, for a communicate, there it goes. Finally.
it is. It is up. Okay. Yeah, for communications group is quite slow. Yeah. Wait, that's not it.
Okay, you know what? You might want to post the link in the description then, or the
Yeah,
chat, because
I got the link and the website is still up. Yeah. So one link I don't want to post is sort of um the the evidence page of how Rashad is linked to this on hoxie.com for American News Now.us, because it shows his address and phone number for whatever reason.
oh, yeah, we don't want to do that. Now, keep in mind, he would have no trouble doing that to us,
Yeah.
but we're not going to do it to him because we're better than that.
So that's Spotlight Communications Group that has registered all these websites that just went down, and it's on the same server, but it is still up. So they
Mhm.
they selectively only nuked the ones that were a problem.
Yeah.
And Crystal Buey hosts her own personal blog on this server as well,
Does she
and a
mention
few others.
Rashad much?
Well, she's on his show, so yeah, she does. And
Okay.
I think I know how she either came to know Rashad or so she posts stuff on the Carter Center.
The Carter
Carter
Center.
being for Jimmy Carter, and right,
Right.
the
Yeah.
Carter Center is in Atlanta because I guess Jimmy Carter was from
He's
Atlanta,
from Georgia. Yeah.
Georgia. Yeah. Anyway, so um, and so they have the Carter Center, which does, I don't know, some beneficial work, right, of the of one kind or the other. And Crystal Buey was the Georgia director for the Carter Center for, I think, 8 months or so.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's I either she got Rashad, either she met Rashad there or she got Rashad into the Carter Center
And so
through her
he, like,
connection.
flattered her with a lot of his degrees and claims of greatness, and she decided to try to help him get his message out or his reputation out?
Or or he just paid her, saying, "Hey,
Mhm.
you have a marketing and PR firm. Well, you do oh yeah, ghostwriting. These people all do ghostwriting as well."
Right.
Which, that sort of points more towards your theory that Rashad doesn't write any of his own stuff.
No. No, and
Yeah.
I think that his latest physics publication was actually, ChatGTP. I
There's
mean, I'm
okay,
looking at it, I'm
yeah,
thinking, "This looks like ChatGTP."
ghost written. Yeah, it was definitely not him. That there's a
No.
90-page book if somebody isn't up to that. It's a 90-page book that's supposedly his master's thesis, that he put on Amazon with a bizarre title, and that's supposed to be his physics thesis. I forget, or his his physics thesis.
No,
Yeah,
I think it was his master's
yeah,
thesis.
master's in physics, right? In
Right,
quantum
but
physics.
we all kinda know that it was junk. There was nothing there, but yeah.
So yeah, that's what I think. So Crystal Buey's responsible for this and there's another connection to the Carter Center is one of the authors of one of the authors of his fake news articles about him is a lady. What's her name now? I forget. Uh, Asir Nubi,
I don't
and she
think I've
calls
heard that
herself
name.
Dr. Asir Nubi. I'm sure the doctor's fake, but it's, she
Oh,
does not seem academic at all. So,
and by the
Asir
way, I got
Nubi,
something to say about that.
she's also associated with the Carter Center somehow. So that's the connection, maybe with the Carter Center.
Yeah, I got something to say about that. You
Go
don't
ahead.
call
Yeah.
yourself doctor. That's something that somebody else calls you. So, when they call themselves doctor, that's a red flag, like,
I
that
have to
doesn't
say,
necessarily mean anything.
some legitimate doctors are,
They do that. I mean, I get that,
unduly
but
proud of their
when
achievements.
they
Yeah.
call themselves doctor, that's when I think, "Uh-oh," you know,
Yeah.
because yeah, because it's incorrect. That's a salutation. I wouldn't call myself Mr. Johnny Walker Dread. I mean, somebody else might call me that, but I don't call myself that because it's a salutation. So enough of that.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the news, right? He's got this fake news network, which is now taken down just by the threat of being exposed, I guess.
It's too coincidental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really wonder what Cenk thinks now. I mean, does he know? We don't know. I mean, he never replied to
He may be
anything, or
watching tonight.
he may be watching. I
Or
doubt I
Rashad.
doubt he has that much time, but
No, but I
anyway,
mean
that's
Rashad might.
Rashad, or certainly his circle. Hello,
Yeah.
Rashad's communications and PR people. Welcome.
Yeah, and by the way, you guys didn't disguise it very well at all.
Yeah. Well, if for a casual reader, nobody's gonna do all this in-depth research on what server a website is hosted and what other websites are hosted on the same server and register to whom and what, right? On what day, uh, in what year. Nobody's gonna go to that length, right? So that's what Rashad is, banking on. But I have to say, I mean, these are techniques that malicious state actors use to spread fake news. These are the same
Oh,
techniques. They make these legitimate looking news websites. Russia's done that a number of times, and then spread some news. It kind of looks like a website that could be legitimate. Some of the Gulf states do that as well. Saudi Arabia is big into creating fake news about itself and others that it doesn't like. Um, they have a whole operations center where they monitor social media and also post things on social media. So this is, what malicious state actors do to spread fake news, and these are the same techniques they use, except of course, Rashad Richey wasn't quite as skilled at it, so that was easy to find out.
Well, that and the fact that he's such a dick that we're motivated to stay on it. Whereas a lot of times when people make their own fake news and their own fake degrees, nobody really cares that much because, like, whatever, good old Josh, he's claiming a PhD, but whatever. But when Rashad does it, we get involved because of his reputation.
His
You
or
know,
yeah, and he has been able to create. I mean, he interviewed Letitia James, right? The lady that's about to seize Donald Trump's properties, right? A prominent political, I guess, figure, um, and Kamala Harris, right? Went on
yeah.
his show, got interviewed by Rashad Richey. I mean, these people, do they fall for him? I mean, he's just, he's somewhat successful in his scam, and he seems to have enough income from it. Oh, the other thing that I didn't even mention on the blog, and no, I guess nobody else thought to include it, is that when you look at rollingout.com, so
I was
Rashad
going to
Richey's,
ask you about rolling
yeah,
out, how it fit in here.
yeah. So Rolling Out, Rashad Richey's the president of Rolling Out. They claim that they're like a, I don't know, what is their description? I think I just black news and music news or something like that, right?
Hmm.
While Rolling Out works the same way. It is essentially a fake news website. Rollingout.com is an advertising shell.
Good
Um,
God.
like essentially, all of their news, all of their actual news, are from a newswire agency in the UK that specializes in entertainment news.
But wait a minute. I thought that this was the nation's number one urban magazine.
Yeah, Urban News Magazine. It is not at all. So
No.
there's a few people there that kind of massage some of these articles. I've looked at this. So it's sometimes they change a word or two. That's as much as they change these newswire articles, and then maybe put their name to it. But essentially, all of the staff, if you look at Rolling Out's LinkedIn page and you look at the people that are employed there, all of the staff are marketers and advertising people. Every single one of rollingout.com's cover story, right? They have a cover story every month or week, I don't know. Every single one of those is an advertising feature that somebody paid for to be on the cover.
Good God.
There's not a single actual story, maybe there's a few, about Rashad Richey. So, and rollingout.com has 50 plus stories about Rashad Richey, its own president.
50?
Yes.
I thought it'd be like maybe 10.
No, it's a very regular feature to hail their leader. I wonder what Munson Steed thinks. So Munson Steed is the owner um of Rolling Out,
By the
but
way,
he knows what. Yeah, Science News Watch. Yeah,
Science
science.
News Watch, one of Richie's.
So this is exactly how malicious state actors spread fake news. They plant it on some lesser known website, then it gets cited by a more well known website and says, "Oh well, these people say this is so," and then somebody else is supposed to pick up those news, right? It kind of
Mhm.
gets laundered. The fake news gets laundered, and is supposed to become common knowledge or mainstream that way.
Right. And by the way, when you look at the headline, it's clearly fake. Rashad Richey's quantum physics research called groundbreaking. You would never see that type of headline in a legitimate science article.
Yeah, like if physicists would not either call themselves or would call anything groundbreaking at all.
No. Mm.
Very few things would be groundbreaking, like the discovery of a new particle,
Yeah. Right.
right?
Mhm.
Um,
And then
so
okay, here's another thing. Research called groundbreaking. Science Newswatch hails Richie's research as groundbreaking. Uh,
that's the
Come on,
news. Yeah.
guys. That's a little bit of wordsmithing you need to do there on that. Oh, and look at this. Oh,
So, oh
Yeah.
yeah, also, yeah, let's look at this. Photo courtesy of Rashad Richey. Wait, is he the owner of the picture that he took the picture of himself, or what happened? Right?
Mhm.
How can he be the how can he
I
be
can
the
tell you
person
what
with the
happened.
copyright?
Somebody took it and then texted it to him, and now he
Yeah.
owns it, he
Yeah.
thinks.
Uh, so I think his lap dog is Chris Smith, right?
Right.
There's a picture of him out there somewhere too. Um, and he's sort of he takes pictures he goes along with Rashad. He was at the Chris Smith was at the annual conference of the black physicists.
Really, he was there?
Yeah, yeah, he was there. So he takes these pictures. You can go on his on his LinkedIn. He is the CEO of Two Benji and LLC. So that's sometimes mentioned as a source in some of these articles about Rashad, as either for a photo credit or some other source. Um, so he's the guy, senior producer at Odyssey Inc. So at Rashad's show on WAOK. Then he's a COO at Our Black Media. Um, so that's another. I
But
guess
wait,
they just
I thought Chris Smith was white.
no, no,
Oh, he's not?
absolutely
Okay.
not.
Never mind.
No,
I have somebody else
yeah,
then in my mind.
no. This is a young guy with yeah. Well, here I'll send you the link to his LinkedIn.
Okay, I'll
But
pop it up.
he's sort of a well, is he a key figure? I don't know. I mean, he's just Rashad Richey's lapdog that writes the articles for him. Uh, he writes a lot of articles on the WAOK website.
Okay, yeah, that's the radio station that talks about Rashad a lot.
Well, that's Rashad has a show on the
Yeah,
station, so
right.
with acclaimed 3 million listeners, which I'm sure is a lie.
Well, of course it's a lie because nothing
Atlanta has like
here is true.
5 million. Yeah.
Nothing. And that's the amazing thing about it. And we talked about this before when it came to the fairness firm, where he, claims to everybody that he had joined this firm, right? And making it sound like the firm had been there forever. And they saw Richie's greatness and said, "Hey, we need you on our staff." When in reality, he helped create it.
Yep.
And the thing
Found the
about it is,
firm. Yeah.
it would have been a perfectly good marketing strategy to announce a new law firm. Hey, I'm partnered with Erica Wilson, my attorney here. We're going to create a whole new legal, attorney, a law firm, right? And that would have worked, but he couldn't do it. He had to lie. And so, like they missed their opportunity to have a really good feel good marketing story because he just couldn't stand telling the truth.
Yeah. That's yeah. He's a compulsive liar, really. And yeah, Chris Smith somehow eats it all up, or probably gets paid handsomely for it. Um,
And there's
so
Odyssey, that's his other
no,
dealio.
Odyssey is so Odyssey owns WAOK.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yeah. So all the news from WAOK and that Chris Smith writes are on odyssey.com/WAOK/ whatever news URL it is. So look at this. He's a senior producer, but only part time. Is he getting screwed? Right? He's getting screwed out of a full time job there.
I don't know. That is kind of odd though.
Yeah.
And chief operating officer. Okay,
I
yeah,
looked that
you
one up.
mentioned Our Black Media.
It's owned by somebody else, and so
Program director. Look at all the stuff that he's presently working. Chief executive officer there, record label owner, still presently. So this is very Rashad Richey thing, right? I mean, like
mhm,
I've got 19 jobs running at once.
yeah. Well, he only does one. for maybe a few hours a week,
Yeah, that's
I'm
probably true.
assuming. Yeah.
And an associate's degree, Savannah State. Well, that's strange. Savannah State, I thought was a 4-year college. Huh.
Oh, the associate's degree is 2 years. So,
No, no, but I'm thinking that
yeah.
an associate's degree. I'm associated with a community college, but I think Savannah State is a 4-year college. That's weird. Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
Sometimes, sometimes they might give you an associate's degree if you drop out after 2 years.
Oh, okay.
That's a thing at some
Really?
universities. I'm not
Okay.
sure. I'm not saying it is that way at Savannah State, but I mean, if you look at it, he took 5 years to do a 2-year degree. So, you know,
He was there for 5 years. Okay.
so I don't know. Well, we don't know what happened, but it doesn't look good.
Yeah, and we don't wanna be
Yeah,
unfair to him. I mean, that
yeah,
there might be very good reasons. I mean, I've known to take a while to do things too. Uh,
yeah.
okay.
But anyway,
Anything else
this
you
is the
want?
guy. Yeah, he's and that's why some of these stories are so ham-fisted, so obvious, and just laying it on so thickly, because this is a young guy. He doesn't know how to do marketing stuff properly.
Huh. Okay. What else you wanna show?
Well, so yeah, let's maybe go to so this is the new big thing, I guess, which has now been taken down. That network's been taken down. Um, I wonder if he'll come up with something different, right?
Hmm.
The other thing, I guess, is yeah, is Rashad Richey a conservative? According to his thesis. Do you want to go through his thesis or what? I mean, just the first part. So, what Rashad Richey is claiming is that America was founded as a Christian nation and still is that way now. That's sort of the base
Yeah,
argument for his
that came
entire.
out pretty clear in his
Yeah.
dissertation, yeah. And
And
he did have
I
a lot
mean,
of good things to say about Islam.
he didn't. Yeah, he's. Yeah, I mean, the things he had to say about Islam. I mean, it's straight Islamophobic, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I don't know if he's ever defended Islam on his show. Possibly not, right? I don't think he talks about
I
that
don't
part.
recall it.
Um,
But his name is Ali Rashad Richey.
yeah. So that is. But anyway, he does. Yeah, that dissertation is extremely conservative. And so who knows what's going on there? Yeah, but with the part we didn't cover about the in our previous show about the dissertation, that the main argument really is that America is a Christian nation, which is directly in contradiction to his show. Let's see if we can
Right.
find that, right?
Oh, the
Uh,
dissertation?
in this no indisputable uh, Christian nation. Let's see, because he argues the exact opposite on his indisputable show.
Yeah, I wonder how many of these people, like Chris Smith and them, know about our work, and mostly your work, right?
Yeah. Or with this, there's a couple people involved. Uh, I don't have the time for everything. Um, oh yeah, here he argues America a Christian nation, and his argument here is no. There's I'll send you the link
Okay.
um, where he discusses that very thing that his dissertation is about.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the bullpen.
By the way, before we begin, I hate this segment because it's always the same. He invites somebody to come on, doesn't give them a chance to talk, throws them off the air, and then crows about how he whooped them. And by the way, he challenged me to a debate once, and I told him, "Oh yeah, any day you like." and I never heard a nary a word from him after that. And then he
He'd
blocked
have
me.
to cut out a lot of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
He's back. In the bullpen today, we have Professor Alexander Salter, economics professor, Texas Tech University, co-author of Money and the Rule of Law,
By the way, I think that is a snap-on tie.
Economics Research Fellow, Free Market Institute, commentator, Young Voices. Always good to have you, Professor. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for having me back.
We are going to chop it up about America being a Christian nation, so to speak. I don't want to presume what you know, believe about that dynamic. So if you would, give us your sentiment and I will then opine.
Sure. I think to start, it's a little bit dangerous to associate the city of man too closely with the city of God, no matter what country or what nation we're talking about. That being said, I do think that certain Christian ethical principles were not only instrumental, but necessary for the American founding to happen the way it did. The truths that we find elucidated in the Declaration of Independence, the care that we pay to checks and balances.
So this is exactly the argument Rashad Richey makes in his dissertation. Yeah. Exactly, to a T.
Could we send Rashad's dissertation to Salter?
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's this?
And then say, hey, would you like to go back on the bullpen? oh, I would pay money to see that interview. Shall we go on?
Yeah.
In our constitutional system, all of these stem from, I think, a Christian view on what a person is, created in the image and likeness of God, which is why we're very careful to try and design our political institutions to protect man's natural rights. We call them natural rights, but who is the author of nature? It's God.
You know, that's interesting. So, Professor, I have a different point of view here.
Not really. We read your dissertation there, Rashad.
And
according to the founders of America, the founders and framers even of the Constitution, they were trying to establish a secular government, not a Christian government. And they wanted to establish a separation between your religious values and the way things actually operate in government world. So much so that
operate in government world. Yeah, he's a real scholar.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, now he's arguing the opposing viewpoint of his dissertation. He should fully agree with this guy.
You know what? It would be interesting. I wonder if Salter would be interested in coming on the show. But whatever the case, we need to get Rashad Richey's dissertation to Salter.
Okay. Sounds like a fun idea.
I'll tell you what, I'll let you do it because you seem to be a little bit more in tune with what Rashad, his message on that dissertation is than I am. I mean, you seem to have it nailed. So take it away.
Yeah.
They forbid religious tests according to Article 6. They do not mention God in context of religion, only in context of you can ask them if they believe in God or not, okay? And when you look at scripture, because if you're saying, okay, these Christian individuals, they created principles rooted in democracy and rights, etc. Well, that's not in the Bible. Democracy does not exist in scripture. So if you're telling us they gave a form of democracy based on their scripture or based on the Bible, I challenge you, Professor, to find me in the Bible where there's an established democracy in text.
Great questions. So I'll take them in order if I may. Yeah. So it's absolutely true that the First Amendment creates a separation between church and state at the national or federal level. But you have to remember that at the time of the American Revolution, most of the states, the colonies turned states, had official established churches. And those churches would be on the denominational map. Virginia was Anglican. A lot of the New England states were Congregationalist, depending on their particular histories and their particular heritage. Eventually, we decided for reasons as the nation evolved to incorporate the Bill Bill of Rights against the states as well, in the sense that states had to also uphold the rights that were listed in the Bill of Rights. But well into the 19th century, you still had some of the early or original states that had official established churches. I think the right way to read the separation of church and state at the national level was not an attempt to keep all religion out of the public square. It was an attempt to make sure that the various Christian denominations wouldn't try and use the national government as a battering ram to try and beat each other over the head to privilege their favored denomination. As for democracy, natural rights, and those things that we do not find in Scripture, you're right. Scripture does not say that democracy, let alone liberal democracy, is the most just or most perfect form of government. What I think that we can take from Scripture is the elucidation of moral principles pertaining to what human beings are owed in virtue of their status of being created in the image of God. And what the founders did was then take that model of the human person. And
I'm sorry, did you tell me to stop?
Yeah, I think we've kind of captured the essence of this.
Yeah, we don't want to play
you
the
know,
whole thing.
the argument is just, America's Christian nation, and that is exactly Rashad's argument.
And actually, I didn't stop it because I find him very compelling in his delivery. He's a very good speaker.
So this
Not
guy,
Rashad.
I don't agree with him, but he makes a good argument, right? And that's what I also think of Rashad's thesis. I don't necessarily agree with all the points, but they are well argued and there are good points.
Well argued means he didn't write it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he did not write it.
Yeah.
But
But
he has
that's
to
the
own
other
it.
thing. He put his name to it. He
has to own it.
and he sought out. I mean, Rashad is a religious guy. He had sort of a religious conversion at some point. I discovered it on some
Okay.
website. He
I'm
said
sorry.
so he's he used to be. He said, I used to be a gangbanger. Then I had this religious epiphany or whatever, and now I'm the good guy.
You have forgotten the golden rule. Nothing that Rashad does is genuine. Come on. I thought you'd learned that by now.
And that is the question for the Young Turks Network, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this guy has zero credibility. Everything he says is fake, and this major effort to create a network of fake news websites to puff himself up and disseminate these false narratives about himself into the media, right? And so that makes him not credible. Like nothing he says can be taken at face value, regardless of what he argues and how valuable it might be. He might be arguing about the hospitals should they're at fault. They should pay this poor person's medical bills and all this stuff, which could be in an individual case a very good argument. But you just can't believe anything he says because he has a credibility issue. So what's the Young Turks network going to do? What's Cenk going to do with him? That he doesn't. He has followers, but the credibility is gone. And so I that's the other thing I checked. Right, I checked. Does the Young Turks network post links to fake news websites or fake news stories somewhere? And they don't.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. It's just limited to Rashad.
So I have a fantasy.
Okay.
That this dude, what is his name? I forget, the guy that's on the screen.
Oh, Alexander Slater, I think.
No, it's not Slater, but something like that. That he contacts Rashad Richey and says, I have proof, an argument that you will even find compelling to show that America is a Christian nation. And then he reads excerpts from Rashad's own dissertation.
Yeah, that'd be fun. But Rashad would never allow that.
You recognize it, right? Like, where did you get that crap? You wrote it. That would be so awesome.
Let's say Rashad might fall for that, but his probably much smarter producers wouldn't. Right. I don't think
they're probably watching.
His producers wouldn't allow that.
Yeah. I mean, and that kind of thing would never happen, right? I mean, this guy's not going to do that.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting. I would really urge that you contact this guy
Salter, his
and
name is Alexander Salter. Yeah.
yeah. Huh.
And I wonder if somebody already, because I thought we had thrown around that idea before, and I don't know if somebody might have written to him. I'm not sure. I'll check into that after this.